like being in the wild world. The thing I find about watching animals is that it slows down time. If you're watching some fox cubs in a field, you're absolutely there. You don't want to be anywhere else. They have feelings that we don't necessarily understand. We impinge so much on the wild world. A relationship like that is revealing, and it's telling about how we ride roughshod through their lives so often without thinking, without understanding. Where we walk, you won't find animals very often. They'll use those paths at night, but they'll avoid where humans are. Wildlife is quite happy with each other. A bird will sit on a cow. A fox and a rabbit will be quite happy in the field if the fox is not in a hunting mode, but they're not happy with us on any level. There's something very, very deeply ingrained in wild animals to keep away from humans. There's this extraordinary photograph of a huge boar in a dining room, and there was a young girl at this table. It was a great big oak ring. And this boar had both her front feet on the table, and the girl was scattering crumbs. There's an entirely natural relationship with this boar and this girl. It made me feel that it was like a spell or a parable, that it contained the whole story of our relationship with the animal world, that we need to share our home. It set me off on this journey, and this photograph stayed with me a long time. We once had quite an intimate relationship with the world around us. We really did understand it. We had to know it. Our survival depended on it. We were limited by the tools that we had. When we hunted, our bows and arrows would take out one or two of the herd, and the more that our tools became effective, the more killing that we did. Wherever we went, wherever we turned up, we'd cause extinctions. An animal like a mammoth, when these big migrations went into the Siberian plain, we would follow them and just hunt and hunt and hunt. Mammoths have long pregnancies, and they invest a long time in rearing their young. They couldn't reproduce in time to replace themselves. Their extinction changed the face of the planet. They were the keystone species on the Great Steppe. The mammoth would rough up the earth, scatter huge amounts of dung, which fertilized the plant life, created new growth all the time. And when the mammoth had gone, the plants became rank and it became acid soil. We were capable of changing the climate even then. The really big change happened about 12,000 years ago when we became farmers. We didn't chase after animals anymore. We corralled them into these warm living larders. We started to treat animals as stupid, evil, a nuisance. The church inveigled animals to represent good and evil. Wolves started crawling around sacred texts, and the devils looked like an animal with a hair and an animal tail. We started thinking about them in a very different way. That's really when we started to be at war with nature. The word for wolf in Latin is lupa. It's also the same word for whore. Bitch, pig, scavenger, pest. It was about elevating us. We were the pinnacle. It made life convenient so that you could do what you wanted to them. And we forget all the extraordinary services that they do for us, or they could do for us if we let them. In 1909, Fritz Haber discovered that he could extract nitrogen out of the air. When you can get fertilizer from the air, it's inexhaustible. As our numbers increased phenomenally, we had to feed ourselves, and we started industrially farming on such a huge scale. The consequences on animal history were enormous. more crops, more fertilizer, more chemicals. We've wiped out so many insects. Our vertebrate population is in free fall. Humans and their livestock take up 96% of mammal biomass. That leaves 4% for the wild world. Human beings, we're like any animal. We're stuck in our ways. We're not very good at long-term thinking. The frustrating things about listening to all the arguments about climate change and all the solutions is how often the animal world is forgotten. If only we realized it, our saviors are all around us. Animals are the maintenance crew. They garden the green and the blue planet by fertilizing the plants, by filtering the water, by breaking down rotting matter and recycling materials. They are fine-tuned organisms that do what, in our hubris, we're trying to do, like capture carbon, when in fact whales do a very good job of facilitating the capture of carbon if there were more of them and if they were protected. We're now bringing back beavers because our lands are being flooded and they're the best hydrologists on the land. If we keep chipping away at their homes, we're basically chipping away at planetary health. They need the systems where their food is available. They need their shelters, their nesting places to create these incredible ecosystems. Our paradigm needs to change about what's valuable in the world. All these things are deeply interconnected. Animals could save us. The paradox is we now have to save them. Only with our assistance will they be able to survive and do the jobs that they have been doing for millennia. That is the crucial piece of the jigsaw. Animals.